Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching The Flash, Season 5, Episode 4, Newsflash. I'm loving this season so far. I love Nora, I love everything she's bringing to the show, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to go next. Let's go. Oh, we get to see what happened. Don't go towards the meteor satellite falling.
You just saved my life.
What was that? Is this Nora making breakfast? No. Iris.
What are you doing? I see you still know your way around the kitchen.
What's happening?
Hey. Evidence that you make lumpy pancakes in every time period.
Let's try it out.
Good luck.
Nora suggested it. I mean, I thought it was a great idea. We're always in and out of Star Lab, so I just,
Yeah, that totally makes
Poor Iris
sense.
feels so excluded from this relationship.
Yeah.
He wants us to
Oh,
come
Iris
to
and
Star
gets
Labs.
wants to
I wanna
read
go
it.
get ready.
He's trying to sit her down and talk to her, see what's
I
up.
thought I'm gonna make you a banana. It's fine.
You're gonna make me.
I'm gonna make you a banana.
Thanks.
Right field, Alan.
Oh.
I love you, but
Sport's not for everyone, Barry, it's fine.
let's just be grateful that he has coordination when it counts. Right, she has 3 times as many followers on her app as you do on your blog, so I'm gonna get something to eat.
Nora, what has happened?
Somebody stop him!
Everybody move!
So he was being controlled by someone, right? But so is she. So did the reporter, she get metahuman powers? Did the satellite version get metahuman powers? Does the app control them?
Spin zone.
So the same way that
Already?
Cicada got his power at the same time as lightning bolt thing did she get powers than her phone did?
Any kids yet? No. What's up? So
She's not necessarily going to trust off the record.
Thinks that metas are being targeted. Ooh,
Or respect it, I mean.
Who? Well, finally. Okay, the building's already been evacuated.
Oh dear.
They're on their way. Nora, what's wrong? He just ran away.
So she posts something to her blog and then it happens.
GP, I'm gonna help you. Okay. Okay. You need to get the hard job, Nora. Thanks, Mom.
Oh, she called her mum. Oh, I just want them to connect so badly.
Did you find Dad?
He crossed the border. Into like Las Vegas.
Fake news taken to a whole new level.
Maybe she's some kind of meta psychic who predicts the news.
That still doesn't mean she hypnotized us.
Yeah.
It does though.
Caitlin, can you download
I
the
don't know.
biometrics
I think
from
she does it
Nora's
in
server
purpose,
when I
doesn't
get
she?
my scans?
I know Nora likes her, but that doesn't mean she's
What are
not
you thinking?
bad. But you know that he works there. That's a start. Then you can find a case of, oh look, this person's got a kid in hospital. Oh look, he could be Cicada. Done. I'm sure it's as easy as that. But you cut it down from the whole city to the workers of one plant.
14 in the Midwest alone.
Okay.
But she knows.
Maybe her
how
phone's a
to use your
meta.
dad, so. You have to press the button.
Yes, Nora, press the button.
No, you don't know me. When they're as adorable as you.
I know you have a crush, but press the button.
She's flirting with their daughter. I'll be back.
Iris.
Well, I guess she's not meta. I guess not.
Her phone is though. Right? Or someone that reads her blog.
Oh, no. I'm trying to protect you here. Has that been your thing, like, my whole life? What does that even mean, honestly?
Didn't want her following Barry's
I mean, is that why
footsteps,
you've
I
been
guess.
so cold? Guess what? I don't need you to do that.
I definitely understand Nora being angry with Iris, but I think this Iris would never dream of doing something like that. So it's hard because Iris of the future I would be pretty mad at too. Iris of now hasn't done that.
I don't understand how I could do something like that.
Because you
to
lost
her.
Barry and you couldn't deal
I
with
don't
or cope with the
know why you
prospect
do
that
it.
you could lose your daughter as well.
I don't need to.
It doesn't make it okay,
I
but
know
it makes it
that
understandable.
anything you do.
Oh, Dr. Snow. Frighten you, Dr. Snow.
I assume you came here for some other reason than murdering me?
Come on.
You're gonna get through this, Iris. Oh my god.
It's the headlines.
What?
Barry, run.
How Spencer's hypnotizing people. They're reading.
You're faster than she is, run.
Don't.
Unless he saw the headline too, and then does he have to just let her kill him? And he's faster than she is, so just keep running. What's happening?
Looks like you'll be trading this cell in for another.
That was less right.
Things can't become
Yes, they
metas,
can, like the
right?
phone.
You created Manatech.
That is exciting.
Puts me-
Are they finally going to talk?
What's going on?
Barry
sure it's a good one.
agrees.
Look, Nora, I don't have to visit the future to know what kind of mother Iris is going to be. She cares about family more than anyone
Oh
ever.
dear.
Okay?
Sort of
I
Nora's
support
world
her
shattering.
decisions. Past, all right.
I don't think that went very well. I mean, obviously it didn't, but I think that could have gone better than it did.
Get in here, kid. Maybe talk about the reason later. But for now,
Thanks, Papa Joe.
It's not having a good time, old cicada. That's a new power then, is it super strength? But if that's holding your house up, I wouldn't squeeze it. Okay, so we finally learned what it is that Nora has been holding against Iris, and I actually think I understand now why she's quite so anti-Iris, why she's quite so angry at Iris. I mean, I don't necessarily think it makes Iris a terrible person. I don't think that she's wholly wrong for having done it, but you can see how from Nora's point of view, she just stole a part of her identity, stole part of her connection to her father, and lied to her about it. Now, I think Barry and Iris's opinion in this episode of, well, obviously it was for a perfectly wonderful reason because Iris would never make a mistake ever, was a little too far in that direction. I feel like if they'd approached Nora and said, look, we're really sorry that that happened and that we're really sorry that it hurt you, but I know Iris knows herself, that she would have thought it was for a good reason and not to hurt you, and going forward we'll make sure we don't do that or something, because just their attitude of, but don't worry about it because it was definitely for a cool reason, it's fine, when you could see how hurt Nora was by it, was odd, and I don't blame her for leaving. I mean, all I can think of as the reason that if immediately came to me for why she might have done it, which might not be the reason she did it, would be she just lost Barry, or at some point she loses Barry because he's the Flash. That's why he goes missing. Flash vanishes, misses in crisis. It's not CSI Barry Allen misses, it's the missing is the Flash. So she's lost him, and like everyone's been talking about, assuming that the reason that Nora and Iris had a problem was because Iris had tried to stop Nora being the Flash, stop Nora using her powers and being like her father, so if she suppresses the powers, Nora never gets them, never knows she has them, she'll never be tempted, she'll never do what Barry did, and she'll never go missing, and she'll never be lost. For Iris, she'll always have her daughter, which is a selfish thing to do. It's such an understandable thing to do. Like, I wouldn't blame Iris for that. It would be wrong, but it would be completely an understandable thing to do with a daughter that you love. Selfish but understandable. I mean, it could also have been something like, what if Barry goes missing, the Flash goes missing, because there's something hunting speedsters and it can sense the powers, and so if Nora manifested her powers, it would be a problem? I don't know. I think perhaps if Iris was doing it for that reason, or whatever, maybe a better way to do it would be maybe still suppress her powers, but talk to her about them, and let her know that she's got them, but I know she'd then be tempted to use them, but it is wrong to take away a part of your child's identity. Like, I think whatever good reason you have, it would have to be a really good reason, and I don't know, I think the way they approached talking to Nora about it in this episode, it was kind of like, I get it from Barry's point of view, in the sense that he loves Iris and he could never imagine her doing anything that wasn't perfect, but something happened that wasn't perfect in the future. Now, another argument they could have is, well, Iris right now would never do that, so something else must happen. So it's not this Iris's fault, so don't blame Iris now, because she has yet to become the person that did that, so for all you know she won't do. I think it's quite a complicated situation, but I think Barry and Iris took a very simplistic opinion on it, that, oh, well, we're going to be excellent parents, Iris would never make a mistake, it's all fine, Nora, don't worry about it, whereas Nora at the very least knows that she was hurt about it. I mean, Iris never told her. Iris just pretended it was completely not there, which she, like, of course she had a reason. She's not going to do it statistically, but that reason isn't necessarily good enough, and I think their response wasn't necessarily good enough, and I don't blame Nora for being upset. I think in her shoes I would have also been upset, and I'm just glad that she's got Papa Joe to look after her and Cecile. I think there's going to be a lot more of that to be discussed, because it was an interesting approach that Barry and Iris take, and I quite like Innocent. Like, I like the fact that the main characters, the main heroes, aren't always perfect, so Barry and Iris didn't have the perfect response to this news, because they're people, they're human, you know, they're not going to always be perfect, wonderful people that know exactly the right thing to say to fix a situation, and because to them, they can think, oh, well, you know, Iris loves Nora, she's going to love her daughter, she's going to be there for her in any way she can, of course it was to protect her, but obviously then, is that ethical? And kind of like Iris said, if Joe had done that to Barry, if that happened to any of them, it would just be viewed as wrong. So I think that was a very interesting dynamic. I like that it was more than just, that the problem Nora had was more than just Iris sort of telling her off if she used her speeder powers. You know, you ran home from school in 2 seconds, you're grounded. Like, it was properly a bad thing that happened. And I agree that I think Iris will have definitely had, in her own mind, very logical reasoning for it. She's not going to do it just to be mean and cruel. And I don't think it would have just been to be controlling as the way Nora saw it. But clearly the reason didn't translate enough for Nora to ever understand it. I would be very interested in knowing what their relationship was like before Nora found out about the suppression thing. Did they have a really lovely relationship and then that ruined it? Or was it always a little bit strained? So I think we're going to find out a lot more about this, but I think that has Barry coming in and saying what he did. I mean, it was what he believed, he wasn't lying, but for Nora, she's always idolised her father and had this perfect relationship with him that she was going to have when she met him, and he would be on her side and he would never support someone suppressing her powers, and then he did. I think that's going to put a real bump in the roads of the little West Island family that we had, and that makes me sad. And I think it's going to make Nora's training and everything a little bit more awkward, so I'm looking forward to see where we go there, and I hope that they're going to work through this and resolve this, and maybe Barry and Iris are going to say a little bit more of the, we're really sorry, you know, that wasn't the best response to have, but also maybe Nora will be able to come around slightly more to maybe there was a good reason. Like, I think neither is 100% right, but I think right now I would be reacting how Nora was. Also this episode, we found out the cicada was injured, and we already knew that, but you know, we had Sherlock, who knows how you're supposed to say that, Wells with Ralph, and he gave Ralph the credit, and they figured out that it's to do with the masks from the people that work in those factories, and that he's injured. Now obviously you can cross-check factory workers who are injured, who have a kid, potentially a kid that something bad has happened to. Tick, 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 you know, I don't know. So we're on the road there, we're getting there. I did miss Cisco this episode, and there was no more development on Caitlin and her father, but I'm sure that's coming. But yeah, that was a good episode. I feel very bad for Nora and for Barry and Iris, because I think even their response to this episode, it wasn't intentionally doing it to spite Nora or to be against Nora, it just happened that way. So yeah, that was emotional. Thank you for watching.